everybody. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to your morning manna, your daily dose of dough. And get your coffee ready. Let's get going into this. We've been going through the book of 1 Thessalonians, and we are in chapter 4, and we may actually finish chapter 4 this week. We'll see. But I want to start it off with this. We're going to pick up in verse 13, reading through 15. And he says this: "Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. According to the Lord's word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep." Now, in this text, there's kind of a, talking about people who have died in the faith and gone on before. So we kind of are led to believe that in Timothy's report back to Paul, that the Thessalonians had some questions about that. They wanted to know, and we're speculating here, we wanted to know, what happened to the people who were believers that have already died? Did they miss out? You keep telling us Jesus is coming again. What about those people? And is it different for them than the people who died and don't believe or didn't believe and those kind of things? And so really what Paul is telling him is that, guys, you really don't have to be too anxious about the fate of those who have already died in Christ. That we believe that when Jesus comes, he's going to resurrect the dead and bring those people with him. It just fits God's character that none would perish. We understand that. Now, grieving is a unique thing. We all grieve. Everybody grieves something. And just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you shouldn't grieve death when a loved one that you know or are close to, someone passes away. That's a reason to grieve. And just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you shouldn't do that. Of course you grieve. But people do grieve differently, and Christians should grieve differently. We, as Christians, we have hope, so we can grieve with hope. So when we have loved ones who had a relationship with Christ, we can grieve, of course, the passing of their loss, because we are stuck here while they get to go on into eternity with the Lord. But we are hopeful that we will be reunited with them in the second coming and when we enter the kingdom of heaven. And in these Thessalonians, we kind of get the idea they wanted to know if they would be sharing in this, resurrection of sorts, or is this only for the people who have already died and gone ahead? And Paul states that, just because you're alive, if Christ is to come tomorrow, you're not going to be at a disadvantage. And so just because you didn't die as a believer doesn't mean that you're going to be held short of some of the things that happen in the glorious reappearing. Now, here's what I want to leave you with. We're human beings, and we have all kinds of emotions, and it's not expected that we would lose our humanity in our faith. God expects us to be human beings. He created us as human beings, and we are given emotions that we are supposed to feel. It's part of our dynamic. It's part of our biology. It is part of our makeup. And these are the things that in some ways shape our character. So just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you can't be sad. It doesn't mean that you can't get angry or frustrated or any of these things. You are allowed to be all of these things, just don't live there. Remember that you have a hope, a different kind of hope than most people, certainly a different hope than those who don't have a relationship with the Lord. So today, whatever it is that you're about, I want to encourage you to look for the positive, look for the hope, no matter what your situation is. There's always something out there that's terrible, always something that can make you angry or frustrated or full of sorrow. Don't stay there. Choose to find the hope in all things. And that is your devotion for today. As always, guys, I want you to remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. And before you finish this day, go out and do something amazing for somebody else. Go bless somebody else. Don't expect anything in return. Watch what happens in your life. We'll see you.